Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our employees management system, which is actually built on ASP.NET Core MVC with MS SQL. So if you're new to this channel, subscribe and let's proceed our video. So as you can see, we have leave types, we have pending applications and approved applications. Then we have the designations. So on our previous video, we were able to create all these types. So we are able to have our leave types. We are also able to add the designations. We also added banks. We added departments. We also added countries, where you can add a new country and you can do everything. So we also have the cities. We also added system codes, where we are able to track group our codes like gender and the rest. Then we also have our system code details. So what I want us to do today is to manage our leave applications. So as you can see, we have our leave types. So on these leave types, but before we actually proceed, I want us to have these as a data table. So we are going to copy what we have under employees. So I want us to use this template. So then go back to our leave types. Then I want within the leave types, we have now our data table here. Then we say add new type. Then here we'll say a leave type list. Then I'm going to, so let's just do that. So as you can do that, then I also want us to use the same buttons that we have on our employees list. So we have these buttons here. So I want us to copy that, then go to our leave types, then replace with this. We should actually have the same thing here, where we will have edit. Then you also have view. Then you also have delete. So if we do that, then update our changes, we should get our application updated with the new look. So let's just wait and see if it will update. There we go. As you can see, we have the leave types. So we have the code of the leave, the name, the created by, created on, modified by, but I don't want to have all these details here. So you can actually retain only maybe the created by and the created on, then we can remove the others. So I'm going to remove all these two, update our changes, then go back. And you can see we now have these created. So because we have that, so I think there is something missing here. We need to close. Yes, we need to close our div. So we'll do that. Do you have another one? Yes, another one. I think that is okay. So if I do that, we should now be able to have our data table. So our data table should be okay. And we should be fine to proceed with our application. So as you can see on our app, we have now the add new leave type, but I will want also this to be in order differently. So how I want us to do is go to our create, then here I want us to have these as MD12. Then here I'll also want to have a div, so we can say div. Then have this class, we say it's in a row. And let's just do that. We style our application. So I'm going to close it here. Then I'll want this to be, so we'll do here, we can say this is can say call, then we do MD12. So this is a div. You can actually do 6 here. So then I close this. So if I close that, I should be able to do the same thing here. And I should also close it here. So if I do that and update my application, we should have this form arranged in 2 rows, as you can see. Then I can also have, so I can have my create as I can have my create with with the, so you can say save leave type. Then once I do that, I can actually add our, we go to our index page for the leave type, you'll see that at the top here, we have this plus icon. I'm going to just use the icon within create. So I'll save, so I'll just, so here instead of having this as input type, I'll just actually have it as a button. So I'm going to copy this button. So I'll call this button, then submit. Then I'll just do away with that. Then, sorry. Then I'll do that. Then I'll close here. Then I'll say this is save leave type. Then I'll actually have my button there, my icon, So if I do that and save, I should be able to see that here. So once I have that, so I can actually now create different leave types within our application. So one of the leave types that we had created, so if you go back here, you'll see that we have annual, paternity. So we can actually create maternity leave type. So you'll say here maternity. Then here we'll say maternity leave. So if we save, you should be able to see our leave type here. We can actually also have a sick leave. So we'll do sick leave. So I'm going to do that. Then save it. Then I'm also going to have casual. Then here will be casual leave. So these are our leave type. Then it has our created on and the rest. So, but you see here, these we are not adding because we are not actually logged in, but I will be able to configure that on our next series. So, but our today's video is actually to create our leave application whereby someone can apply for leave. So before we do anything, I want us to create a model that will actually hold all the information about leave applications. So go back to our models folder. Let's create a model called leave application. So we'll call leave application, then add that model. Then we'll go to add some of the properties. So I'll just do prop tab. Then this will be our int, our ID. So I'll do an ID. Then I'll also do, so here I'll do one is int, and I'll want to have employee ID. So I want to track the employee who has just applied for that leave. So that will be a foreign key. And here I'll also have to ensure that this is a foreign key. I'll do employee. Then here I'll just do employee. Then the next thing that I want us to do, since we have the employee, I want us to create the start date. So the employee should give us the start date of the leave. So here we'll say the date, time, when they want the leave to start, and here I'll just say start date. Then if you have the start date, then you can actually have the end date. So I'll just do end date. Then what we need to do is we need to apply for the number of days here. So we'll just put in days. We'll say number of days. So number of days. So that is the number of days that the employee is going to go for leave. Then we should be able to indicate the duration, whether it's full day or half a day. So you can, here we can say int then duration. Then this duration, I want it to come from our system code details. So I'll call it duration ID. Then I'll borrow from the system code detail. I'll show you how we'll have to have. So this is actually a foreign key. The duration will be, you choose either it's half day, full day, or second half or first half. So I'll just do that. Then the next thing is we need to track which kind of leave the employee is going. So here I'll put in the leave type. So here is the leave type. So here you'll say leave type. And this leave type is a foreign key. So it should actually come from the leave types that we've just talked about. So this leave type, and here we'll just do leave type. Then after we've done the leave type, we should now choose, we should have the attachments. So this attachment will actually give us, so I'll just do a string. We'll be saving the file name that the employee attached, but I will be actually showcasing what if we have more than one file. So how will we deal with that? So for now, let's just do attachment. So, and I'll just put this as nullable for now. Then we'll have the next thing that I want us to do is to choose the, I want us to choose the, I will want us to have the description, the employee to tell us more about the leave. So this should not be nullable. Then after we have that, we can actually save it. Then we can also include our activity. Say user activity, should be able to see who created by. So as you can see now, our application is growing big. So what I want us to do, these applications will need to be approved. And another thing that we missed the status of the leave application. So we need to track, once you launch a leave, kind of you send it for approval, we need to track the status. So I'll just say a status ID. Then this status should be is a foreign key from our status, from our system code table. So after we have that, I want us to also do something. These applications will be approved. So I want us to create another. If you go to user activity, we'll see we had user activity, we had created by, created on, and modified by, and modified on. So I want us to create another here so that we don't affect other tables. Then we say approval activity. Then we say approved by, then approved on. This will be tracking our approval process. Approved on. Then we can actually say rejected by, and you can say rejected on. So you see that, or we can actually use this, just you can actually reject or approve. So once we have that, we can actually say this should inherit from our user activity so that we don't affect other tables. So then this approval activity, we now inherit it here. So the next thing that we need to do is now to actually add migrations for these. So we need to copy this, go to our application DB context first, and we do DB public, DB set, then we just do there, then here we'll call it applications, leave applications, then do that. So I'm going to add migrations now for our leave applications. So I'll say add migration, then I'll say leave applications. So if I press enter, we should be able to create that that table to our database, and we'll be good to start doing now CRUD about our app. So if we do CRUD, we'll be able to see everything that we have done, and we'll be able to, so you see everything is now fine. So I want us to update the database. So I'll just do update database. So if everything goes well, then the table should be created and we should be good to start now doing a CRUD application, applying for leave. So after adding our migration, as you can see, we just added our migration. So we applied update database, then it should be able to run and create our table. So you can see our create applications table. Then we have employee, number of days, all this. But in case you hit an error, you can actually do something on our application DB context. So let me take you there. So we have our application DB context. So you can actually add this line of code here. So you'll have our model builder.entity, leave application, then has one status with many, then has foreign key. You specify a foreign key as status ID. So it depends. So these are some of the changes that I've added so that our migration can actually work. So after doing that, our database is now, our tables is now created. So I want us to go back to our controllers, and I want us to create to add a scaffolded item, then MVC with the entity framework core. Then we are going to choose leave application. So we are going to scaffold and now create our leave application forms. That is for editing, for creating, editing, and deleting. So after doing that, we should be now in a good position to actually create a leave application. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. For those who are following the video, comment down below some of the modules that you will see, you will want us to cover within this application. So our code is generating. If everything goes well, then we should be able to see that our controller has been created, and we have our index details, we have our create, and all the drop-down options. So for the drop-down options, we'll have the duration, the employee, the leave type, and the student ID. That is the status ID. So when you come to our views, you'll be able to see we now have a folder for leave applications. So this is the leave application, and we have the create, form, delete, details, edit, and index. So what I want us to do now, let's go to our layout, and I want us to add now our leave application sub-module. So here we'll create this, we'll add another sub area here, then we'll call it new, or you can let's just remove all of these instead of having too many buttons. Let's just call it leave applications. Then here we'll be able to have, we'll say SP action. Then this will take us to index. Then we'll also do SP controller. This should also, so here we'll say leave applications. So after doing that, when we launch our application, we should be in a good position to create our leave applications. So let me launch our application, then it will actually take us to our leave application section. So for those who are watching, remember to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. So there we go, our app is launching. As you can see, we now have our leave applications. So if I click leave applications, it will take us to the index page. There we go, and you can see we have index page, but we have a lot of details. So what I want us to just limit these details. We can display up to the status, then we remove all these others. So I'm going to do that. So let's go to index page. So I'm going to leave up to the status option. So from here, the rest I'm going to delete them. So I'll just delete. You can also remove the description. What other thing can we remove? Duration. That is okay. Then we can go back. You can remove the modified by. We just leave up to the status. Then I'm going also to remove the same thing, the data, duration. Then I'm going to remove the others as well, up to here. Remove also this. So after doing that and apply the changes, I should be able to see my application doing refreshing and giving me now what I require. So as you can see, we have employee, number of days, start date, end date, duration, leave type, attachment, and status. So what I want us to do, if you go back to our create action for the leave application, so I'll just go to leave application, and on create, I'm going to remove all these binding. So I'll just remove it. So just remove that. Then under leave application, I'll want to have my created on, so I'll just do created on, and I appended the today's date, so I'll just do date time, then now. Then I'll also give it the created by. For now, we are just giving it the default username, so I'll just assign it macro code, but we'll be authenticating our application, then assigning this to our application. The same thing you can actually do for the update. So when you are editing, you can actually do the same thing. So you can add this here, then you change to modified on and modified by. That is it. So I'm going also to remove this from our application, then we just leave that. So let me launch our app, but before even launching, I want us to go to our create method, and I want us, action, razor page, then we'll just change this to MD12. Then I want actually to reuse what we have in employees form. So I'm going to copy this card. So this should be add new employee. So that should not be the list. So if we go to create form, I want us to borrow the same thing. So I'm going to paste that. So this will be new leave application. Then if we just remove this, we are going to now use that. Then I'm going to close down here. So I'm going to close here, do that. Then I'm going to close it. So after doing that, we should be able now to have our, so this is our button. So this is actually a title of our form. Then I want us to remove some items. So I want us to remove the approved by, created by, and created on. So this should be added by the system, and also the modified by. So after doing that, let's now update our application, run our application, and try to create a leave application. But you'll notice that we'll have some items that we need to modify. So for those items, I'll show you where to modify them. So let's just launch our app and see. So there we go. So here we will have our leave application, which will take us to the list. Then if we click create, it will now give us the form. You see this form? We have now the employee, and you see the employee is actually giving us in numbers. And those employee, let me just open in a new tab. You'll see these are the employees. But I want us to have the first name, middle name, last name as the one to display here. So we are doing that. Then duration, instead of numbers, we actually display details. So I'll just go to our controller. Then under create here, I'm going to display full name. Under employee here, we'll just display full name. Then after doing that, for the duration, I'm going to display name. For the leave type, I'm also going to display name. Then for the status, I'm also going to display description. So this is taking it from our system code details. So after doing that, I'll also do the same thing under edit. So here will be name. Here will be full name. The leave type will be name. Then a status will be description. So this is a status. So after doing description, and also we have another area here to change. So here we'll do name. Here we'll do full name. Then we will do name. Then here description. So everywhere we have this, we should actually change it. So let's just check on our, so this is our edit, create, and also we need to change it on this. So here we will do as well name. Here we'll want to display full name of the employee. Then here we have the name, and here we have the description. So after doing that, we can now launch our app, and let's see how it will look like. So let's confirm if we have, so we have the created on. There we go. I think that is fine. Then If we launch our app, let's go to leave applications, and we should be able to create a new leave application. So there, as you can see, our duration has thrown an error. So what does that means? If you go to our model under duration, our leave application duration, where is it taking the duration? Is taking it from system code details. So we should actually be displaying in duration should be description. It's not the name. So change that to description. Change anywhere we have duration to description. Under edit as well, we change it to description. Then we should be good to launch our app now. So let's launch it. So launch that. Then we see. So our application, when you create our application, we should be able to ensure that every time you create an application, it will be assigned a status pending. So if I just come to list, then I initiate a new leave application, you'll see that our employee is now giving us names. Our duration is giving us gender details, but we don't want to see gender here. Our leave type is giving us the leave types that we added. Then our status is also giving us males, and that is male and female. So what I want us to do, let's go to our system code. I want us to do something. I want us to add another code, and we call this approval leave. We say leave approval status. Then we'll actually have this as our description. Then the created by, we change here to date, modified by, and I told you we will actually modify this. So when you create that, we'll be able to have our leave approval status. Then we need now to have our status option. So we are going to come here, select the leave application status. Then we'll say the first one is pending. That is the status. If you just create a leave, it will have the pending status. Then we'll call this pending status. So this is pending status. Order is the first one, created by macro code on today's date. Then that is fine. Then we create it. So we need another status. So I'll change here. Then we can say awaiting approval. So we'll say awaiting approval. That will be our code. Then we can say here this is awaiting approval. Then order this is the second, created by that. Then do that. Then macro code. Then this is modified on. Then let's create it. So that is the second code. So the next one is to display the awaiting. Then we can say approved. We can also have this as approved. This is the third. So that is the statuses of our leave applications. If someone sends it for approval, we need to have it approved. So I'll do that. Then I'll create another one. What if it is rejected? So I'll say rejected. Then here I'll say rejected. Then this is number 4. Then I'll just do that. Then do that. Also do that. So if I create this, we'll now have all these statuses for leave application. You see the code is actually leave application. So it has actually grouped. So we have the pending, awaiting approval, approved, and rejected. So here we should change these two. We should change that to, instead of waiting approval, let's just call it pending. So then I'll just update. So I think we'll check on that. We can work for that now. So if I go back to our leave statuses, you'll see we have all these statuses. So what I want us to do, when we go to another thing that we need to do is the duration of our leave. So we need to create another code. So I'll call this leave duration. So this is our group. So it's kind of, we are grouping these options. So this is leave duration. So I'll do that. Then here is created by macro code. This is do that again. Then I create. Then I'll go back to our code details and create the options. So I'll select, this is leave duration. The first leave duration that you want is, we can say full day. Then this will be full day. So you'll be taking full days. Then you go here, then this one, then you select that, and I create it. So we'll have our leave duration. That's the first option. I'll also want this another leave duration. You can say first half. If you are taking the first half of the day, you can also do that. First half. This is the second option, created by macro code. There we go. There we go. And I can actually create this. Then another option, will have a second half. If you want to take your leave on the second half of the day, you can do that. Then I'll do that. Then this will be your third option, created by macro code. Then there we go. Then I'm going to do that and create it. So after doing that, we should be able to have these options now. So what I want us to do, if you go to leave application and you say create, you will see we have our employee, then we have our number of days, we have the leave types, then under duration, you'll see we have a mix of male, female, pending status, approved, rejected, full day, all this, but we don't want to do that. So what we'll do, we'll go back to our controller, then under create here, under create, that is under create the get method, I'm going to say dot include, then I'm going to include my system. So these I'll do that. Then I'll do x. So I'll just do x is equals to, then I'll do here system code. So I want it to include system code. Then once I do that, I'll say dot where, I'll also do y where y dot code equals to, so I want only to display the duration. So on our code, what is the name of our codes? So for system codes here, so if you go back here, our duration is leave duration. So to give me only the options for leave duration. So the same thing should happen for our status. So here we'll do, but what I want us to do, I don't want to assign the status on, so I'll just remove this. I only want us to select the duration. Then I'll also remove the status here. I'll also remove it here under edit. Then I don't want users to be assigning statuses to leave applications. So what will happen now when we create, so we'll have the duration, employee, and leave type. So when we create, what we will do here, we will actually do, say, pending status, because that is, we know we should, for anything that has been created, we should assign it pending status. So I'll just do system code details dot include, then I'll say x dot system code. So I want to include that. Then I'll say dot where x, so I can do here y dot code. You see dot system code. Here I'll want dot system. Here I'll want system code. Here dot code equals to pending, and then and. So I'll do here and. So I'll do and y dot system code dot code equals to, so this is our leave approval status, this one. So this is what we need. So that is where pending, and it's actually part of the leave approval status. So what we also missed, I think we missed something here, is at the here. We should actually say system code.code. So this is what we should ensure we have. And also, so I'm going to copy this and have it everywhere we have our duration. So we say .where. So first we need to include, we say x dot system code, then we close it, we say .where. So after including, we say .where system code.code is equals to leave duration. The same thing should happen to our, so we'll copy that. Same thing should happen down here. Yes, so we'll have it here. Then we'll have .include system code, .where system code.code is leave duration. So I think after doing that, what we need now to do, we should remove our status on our create form. So I'm going to remove this. So under the leave application status, we should get it out. So let's remove this, and that is what happens. So once we have our leave status under the controller create method, so this is actually happening on post. So we have now the status. So we should come to our leave application model here. Then we say status ID will be equals to pending status.id. So this is actually giving us, so here we should say .first or default. So we'll do that. Then here we'll say .id. So we'll say status is pending status.id. Then for the edit, we should actually still do the same. We assign our pending status. If anything is modified, that means we need to, so I'll just copy that, have it under post. So we'll just do that. Then our leave application, we'll say leave application dot status ID equals to pending status. If anything is modified, we just change it back to pending. So after doing that now, we should be in a good position to create our leave application. So let me launch my application, then see how it will come up. So if you go back to the index page, index action, you'll see that we are actually including, so I like having the 1 dot per line rule. So we'll just do that. Then you see we are actually including our status. So our application had launched. So there we go. So we'll go to leave applications. Then I'll try to create one. So if I just do create, I'll have my employee. The number of days, I'll say 1. So currently this is not validated. So we'll be validating that. Then I'll choose the end date. I have it here. Then you see the duration. It has now given me only the durations that we selected. So if you go back to the system codes, you will see that the duration has only these 3 options. So we have the full day, first half, and the second half. And that is what we have here. So I have the full day, then annual leave I'll select, then I'll select my, so this should be an attachment, but for now let's just have it as it is. Then a description, we say leave, annual leave. So we'll be dealing with files on our next series, annual leave. So if I say create, you should be able to add our employee record, our leave application record, I mean. So as you can see, our leave has been saved. We have our employee ID, the number of days, duration, and the leave type and the status. But you can see we have employee as a number, duration as a number. So we want to display the names here. We don't know who is actually employee 11. So let's go back to our list under index for the leave applications. Then we are going to change, instead of employee.id, we do employee.fullname. Then instead of duration.id, we do a description. Instead of leave type, we do a name for the leave type. Then instead of a status, we actually do description. So if we do that and apply the changes, we should actually have our employee record, meaning giving us some meaningful information. As you can see, we have the employee name. There we have number of days, display, date, and the status. So I want us to have this table to look a bit better. So I'm going to copy what we have in our employees. So I'm going to copy that, then transfer it to our index. Then I'm going to replace this. And then I'll call this add new leave. So you'll say new leave application. Then here we'll say leave applications list. Then here, this is our table. Then I'll need to close some items here. I'll close some div. So I'll copy some, then do that. Check if everything is closed. So this, click on it, then check if it's actually, yeah, it's closed. So the next thing is I also want these buttons to look the same way as our employee table. So I'm going to copy what we had on our employee. So I'll copy this instead of typing so that we go fast. Then go back to our index here. Then I'm going to replace this here. Then at the top here, I'll just now have my headers, edit. Then I'll do view. Then I'll do delete. So once we do that, I should be able to update our application and look on it. There we go. So we now have our leave applications list where we have our employee, number of days, start date, end date, duration, leave type, attachment. So this attachment is actually a file. So we'll handle that. So we have the status as pending. So if we create another one, let's create another one. And you can see this form is a bit boring the way it is. So we'll actually arrange this into 2 columns. So where we go, so there we have it. So we'll change that leave type. Just put here a name, then you say completed. If we click create, we'll have our new leave application. So what I want us to do now is on this form. This form you see have a leave type. So, and these namings, how do we change this? So instead of saying employee ID, so what I want us to come to our model, then on leave application, then here, just within here, so we can actually do display. So we'll say display, then we say name, sorry. So here we'll say name, then we can do is equals to, put that, then we can say employee name. So this one will need to import something. So if you click there, it will tell you to import this using display using system.componentModels.data annotations. So if you do that, then the error will be gone. So the next thing here, you can say the number of days. You can say number of, here you'll say number of leave days. So you can do that. So you can actually do this on the model, or you can change on your pages. So here you'll say start date. So this is a start date. Then I'll remove this. Then I can also do another one for end date. So this one will be end date. End date. Then here I'll also say leave duration. Leave duration. So if I do this, I'll also change my leave type. Instead of leave type ID, I'll do leave type. Then attachment. Then here I'll say status instead of status ID. So I'll just do status and I remove this. Then here I'll say instead of description, I'll say notes. So after doing that, let me launch our app, then we see how it looks like. So we should be able to see these labels on our application. So hope it does. So let's just go to our application as it launch. So for those who are new watching our channel and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. So if you go to leave applications, then we check here, you'll see we have the employee, number of leave days, start date, end date, duration, leave type, attachment, and status. So if I click new, you'll be able to see that the name has actually changed. So we have here now employee name, end date, leave duration, leave type, attachment, and notes. So, but this form is a bit long, so we can actually split it into columns of 2. So I'll just go to create. Then here we had done that, so I'll just do here, I want this to be a div class row. So I'll do class, then I'll say row. Then if I close that, I'll also come, so I'll close everything there in a row. Then I'll now subdivide these into 2. So I'll just do here call md, then 6. So I'll do 6. So I'm going to copy this, then I'll close it here, div, then I'll paste the what I had copied, and then I'll close it here. Sorry. Then I'll also paste what I had copied, then close it here as well. Then press enter, paste, close it here, press enter, paste, then also close it here, press enter, then paste, then we also close it here. Then I'll also do enter, paste, then we close it here. So after doing that, I'll also do there and close it. So if I do that and save that, then relaunch our app, we should be able to see our form rearranges into a columns of 2. So if we, there we go. As you can see, we now have this first and the second one. So you see now our form looks a bit better. So the create button, we can actually say save. So we'll say save leave application. So after doing that, we can update our changes. Then we should have, you see our form now, save leave application. So you can add another student leave, not employee leave application. Then we have here 2, we have here that way, choose there, maternity, choose, we put in some text here, then here we just say and save. So if we save, you see this is our, so I'll want to change our, or you can just leave it. So I'm going to add another leave application. I'll do here 4, this is the date, this is the date, end date, this is the second half, and I can do that and complete. So as you can see, we have been able to now save a leave applications. So what happens if a leave applications these leave applications needs to be approved? So on our next video, we are going to see how we can approve these leave applications. And you can see you can actually create edit, and it will give you all these form details. If you go back, we will actually do that to look a bit better. We will also able to view the leave application details. We will actually also make it more appealing, and you can delete. So you see, you can actually delete it. So that is it for today's guys. For those who are watching and you like the video for this series, comment down below and see you in our next video. Bye.